Hi, and welcome to today's session. My name is Niels Oldenburger, and today's session will be all about CSA portal capabilities. So you can see it on my screen where I've highlighted the thing in red, which will be part of the demo today. It will focus on the marketplace portal of CSA, where end users, so a variety of end users consuming services, can actually browse for services, order these services, get approval for some specific services, and more importantly, they can self-manage these ordered services by taking lifecycle management actions to these services. The service catalog can consist of services that have a variety of local resources, public cloud resources as represented over here. So it could be Azure, it could be Amazon, it could be Cloud 28 services, and the system as such underneath the big black line actually integrates with your backend. But as for today, I will focus on the CSA portal functionality only. So for that, I need to log on to the portal, and the system will query me for my username was too quick, my username and password, and right now I'm being validated against the Active Directory or LDAP that applies in this case to the Eurospace organization. System does support SSO, but then I wouldn't be able to showcase that. But right now the system has recognized me as an end user, as Niels, and for that you can have a specific service catalog being showed to persons or individuals that share the same role. With that, I can immediately shop for services, the services that actually apply to my role, and I can shop for, in this case, 44 services that will appear in my service catalog. Now, I have different options to select the right service that I'm needing at that moment. I can either search for it, do a free text search. I can use the categories that have been set up. So I can choose any kind of these categories to fulfill my need. And I can also do a search for approval required services or non-approval required services. The no approval means that I can order it right away and a sort of a pre-approval is given, and I can make different sortings of how I want to reflect the services that I can order. Now, without further, I already selected the first one. Well, I might just showcase how I can order this service. So the use case behind it could be I could be a real end user that needs access to certain desktop applications that haven't been supplied to me. I can see the price that will be cross-charged or charged to me or to my department right away, and I can select the kind of applications that I want to have streamed to my VDI, to my desktop. Now let's go for the access tab. I will go for the checkout. I will order my desk. I can select when do I need it, so I can order it right now but get it provisioned on a later date. If I don't need it right now, I don't need to pay for it. And I can choose the end date. So if I need it for a certain period but not full time, you can have your end user select a different end date for that. I can see what I'm about to order. I can submit the request. That's all you need to do from an end user perspective to order any kind of IT cloud service from CSA. Now let's go for a different service and show you how that actually would look like. Now either I can browse through the entire list as you see it appearing in my list, but that could be an awful lot. Now let's assume I'm a developer that needs a specific VM or that needs a specific VM to apply some tests. So I just need a simple VM that would fit my needs. Now also here I can select several services, but let's go for this one. So again, I'm a developer in need of a simple VM where I want to install the application that I want to do a test upon, and then I only need this VM for a certain period of time. So I can select the operating system that I need, and you can have a variety of operating systems over here. I can choose what kind of CPU and memory setup do I want. Now, this is reflected in radio buttons. It could have been t-shirt sizes as well. I can choose whether I need additional disk. I can choose whether it needs to be deployed to production network, development network, or a test network, or an accept network, or a sandbox, or whatever network setup you would require and is actually needed by these type of end users. You can furthermore select the SLA that I want to have on this VM. If it's only for a test for, let's say, a day or two, I can choose not to have monitoring on it, or I can select silver or gold for more advanced monitoring, but then I would pay for it, or I can choose to have a daily, weekly, or monthly backup to it. When I've selected the service that I want, I'll go for checkout, and here again I give it my name, and as you have seen before, I can make this service available only to me or to the group that I'm part of. So in this case, if I would choose this option, this VM would be available to everyone that is part of this Active Directory group, Eurospace. I will not do that for the purpose of this demo. Again, I can select the subscription period, I submit the request, and there this service is being ordered. So right now, this end user will receive a confirmation that his service has been ordered, and when the service is done, and that in this system it will take 5 minutes, he will also get a confirmation that his service is ready to be used. So when I receive that confirmation that the service is done, I will just click on the link and access the same portal again, but then I can see from this screen my services that these services are online. Online means that these are available, of course, and I can see that the VM that I just ordered is in a transitioning mode, which means it's being built up, but I can also browse for earlier services that are part of my service subscription. Now, for example, I ordered a VM, a test VM in an earlier stage, and here is where it gets interesting for end users, because from this page directly they can see, of course, all the details of their VM, but more importantly they can self-manage this VM. So in here you sort of delegate rights that are normally bound to VM admins, so the vCenter operators or the Hyper-V operators. You can give these rights directly to your end user. So from here I can actually do all these quote-unquote admin tasks to stop, start, suspend, generate URLs, make snapshots, flag this, add CPU memory, all from the end user console, integrating directly into, in this case, vCenter, to execute these actions. Now bear in mind that I have been logged on with my corporate enterprise ID, but underneath the hood these vCenter actions are actually executed by an admin, but that account is actually hidden to the end user. So besides these VMware oriented actions, I could also activate the monitoring if I haven't done so, or I can run a backup whenever I need it, or restore a backup. Now these are just examples of options that you can actually make available to your end users so that they can self-steer the services that they have. And furthermore, in this dashboard, you will have a few other options. Now, the dashboard as such is customizable. It's HTML5, which means that you can apply any corporate setup in terms of fonts or look and feel to it. You can see or present new releases, feature services, or popular services. You can, from an end user point of view, I can see which services are most popular, and I can also include links or widgets to other popular resource locations that are interesting for this kind of user that has been logged on to the CSA portal. So let's go back to the subscriptions and see where we are. Now I can see that my desktop access has been set up, and right here you can see the URL that gives me access to, in this case, the CSA web store, where I can access these services right away. Now, in terms of what happens underneath the hood, I will actually log on to a different service catalog, or I will log on to the admin console to see the progress of, in this case, this my test VM. So if you want to see what's happening behind the scenes or underneath the hood, I will now switch to the admin console. So as you can see, I've been logged on as an IT admin right now, and from here, so from the generic dashboard, which is loaded right now, you as an IT admin have access to this console, which allows you to set up these services, set up rights, set up new services, design new services. So this is a really cloud service automation platform that serves a variety of admins to do specific things. If you want to add pricings to the service offerings, that's what you do over here. Or in this case, if I'm part of IT Ops, I want to see who's actually ordered what happened behind the scenes in terms of automation. So we'll go into operations right now. And from here, I can see all the different organizations that have been set up in this system. Right now, I'm part of aerospace, and these are all the active end users that have been ordered services or that are ordering services from that portal. Right here, I can see Niels, and I can see which services he has actually been ordered and which ones are active. I can also transfer services from here from one person to another, but that's a different task. So let's look at the state of this my test VM. I can see all the different orchestration steps that have been completed or currently active from here, and we can take a deeper look. So right now it's activating, it's post-transitioning. It already has spin up the VM. Right now it's doing a data protector provisioning, so it's applying the backup software to the VM that has been created. So let's look at that live stage. From the process ID, each single automation step is actually logged, and from here it will now load the step that is currently active. This is the live view. You can see on the status that it's still running, and I can see the entire process. I'll make it a little bit smaller. There you go. It will be hard to see, but this is an example of an orchestration flow that will show step by step. So each artifact that you can see, get user identifier, is a step in the flow, and once it goes through the green lines, it will completely do all the actions that are normally done manually and finally end up in the resolved, and resolved means that all the actions have been okay. If there is a failure in some step, it could be that the network is down and so the system cannot be reached, it will generate what we call a failure action, and the action itself can notify an admin that some step went wrong. Now, right now, we are in this step. It's installing the Linux, the agent on the Linux, and you can see which step we are in. Now, don't be misguided by the red cross over here. It could mean, or normally would mean, that a step went wrong, but here it's just a qualifier that some steps are not needed. It's right now installing the agent. It has applied this SSH command and it failed, but it's applying this SSH command and that will succeed. Besides the graphical setup, each and every single step can be viewed at, or is recorded, so that you can track back of what step has been executed with which credentials or which input has been used in order to do so. Now you can see that the previous step, already had a connection timeout, so there must be something wrong with reaching out to the Linux box that has been provided. Now, right now this step is still running, so let's wait until it's finished, and after it's finished it will actually proceed to the next step. So it could be in the meantime that the flow itself has been finished, and we will get an overview. Now it's loading, and it will show it. There you go. Now, no, it's still, oh yeah, it already finalized the install of the agent, and right now it's creating a policy that applies to this specific VM, and that's the policy of the choice of what should be the interval of the server. What should be the backup sequence of this server, weekly, daily, or monthly. Now, right now, what you could see live is that the complete service has been resolved and my end-to-end provisioning has been done. So that will be something that you can see over here as well. You can see all the steps have been provisioned. I can go back to my overview. I can see that the service as such is online, and let's switch back to the end user view and refresh this page, where it will show that the service I just ordered is actually live. And it always takes time when you're waiting for something. Now let's give it another kick. There you go. It's generating my services, or at least it should generate my services. Okay, let me go back to this one. Yep, finished. Come on. Okay, let me go back to the overall portal and then access my service from here. Okay, there you go. And here from subscriptions, you can see that my test VM is now active. I can either directly cancel it or do whatever I want with it, either change it or decommission it or view it like you see over here. Now this one had a special action. It also generated this CMDB entry, which is stated over here, that you can use for trackback. Same as the other one, I can actually apply all these user actions from the portal directly. Okay, That, in short, concludes my quick overview of what you can do with CSA and a small peek into what happens behind the curtains. With that, I will end this part of the demo and want to welcome you back for a next demo. Thank you.